Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Welcome to The Takeout. President Trump and Elon Musk are fighting in haymaker social media posts exchanged all day. The spat could affect the fate of the president's economic agenda because Musk now fiercely opposes the legislation that carries it. You might recall that Musk poured more than $200 million last year into campaigns to elect Trump and other Republicans. If that faucet closes, well, that is a story. And Musk this afternoon mused about creating a third party. Is he serious? Vast sums of money and 200 million X-followers might matter if he is. But it's more than the histrionics and politics. Musk and his Doge associates, we need to remind ourselves, had unfettered access to several large federal government databases. And they ran some of the artificial intelligence models known as Grok through some of them. To what effect, we don't know. What Musk and Doge did or did not do with that data and what it learned from it about people, rival contractors, government functions, also remains a mystery. When Musk was part of the Trump inner circle close enough for Teslas to be featured on the South Lawn of the White House, there was some theoretical supervision of all this. Now, with Trump suggesting he might cancel federal contracts with Musk, who knows where the animosities and threats might lead? In other words, this Trump-Musk divorce, if permanent, could be with us for a long time and in unimagined ways. We begin tonight with CBS News political director Finn Gomez, White House reporter Aaron Navarro, and Politico's Sophia Kai. It's great to have you with you. Finn and Aaron, you have way too many ties for the family table, but I'll overlook that. Finn, let me start with you. What do you make, what should our audience make of what has transpired today? Because it got ugly, and it got ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, the bromance is over. The bromance is dead. You know, I think earlier in the year, we heard...
And billionaire bromances really are of a very special kind.
They are, especially when they're the two of the most powerful people in the country and the world. Like, I think one could argue. And I think what we're seeing now is this schism within the party and within the administration. And it's, you know, and you're seeing it, and it's flaming out in historical proportions here. But these two close allies are now, you know, fighting in a very public setting. And again, you know, I did kind of call this. I did think that this was eventually going to happen. I mean, just ask Mike Pence and others who were once close with Donald Trump. I mean, this is sort of has like the natural sort of like, you know, organic end to this sort of relationship. But the ramifications are significant, both politically and also legislatively, where we are right now with this big, beautiful bill. But also, as you've seen, Musk is already threatening to start a potential third-party entity.
Don't know if he's serious.
But I mean, if a man who spent $277 million, the largest single individual donor in the 2024 cycle, wants to get some retribution that way, he can.
Aaron, my quick notes here. SpaceX, one of Musk's companies, just one, 49 contracts with the federal government with a projected potential value just shy of $20 billion.
Yeah, $19.7 billion from SpaceX alone. It's certainly a big impact to Elon's companies, but, you know, the world's richest man has been throwing his money all around. He spent $25 million.
Provides a service to NASA.
That's right. And he already, the service he's provided for the government, at least that's gotten most attention, right, is the Department of Government Efficiency. It's Doge. And you've seen him kind of embed a lot of people younger than I that worked for him on SpaceX or Tesla that have been ingrained in these federal agencies are still part of these federal agencies to, you know, in his idea, continue the work of Doge. And it was looked over last week, but in the budget proposal from the White House, they actually propose increasing the number of, quote, Doge staffers from 89 to 150, signaling that while there is this very public spat between Elon Musk and Trump, the work of Doge is quietly still being supported by this White House.
Sophia, this disagreement today, which really burst into sort of a vitriolic way on social media, got borderline incendiary with one tweet I know the control room has, reads as follows from Elon Musk's X account. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Yikes.
Look, these are two people, neither of whom likes to back down.
Right.
And that is what you're seeing.
Yeah.
I think the crucial period is the next 24 to 48 hours. I mean, is President Trump going to use the might of the federal government to get back at Musk for a tweet like that? And we don't know yet, right? I mean, Trump convened almost a dozen agencies just last week to brainstorm all of the ways in which it could screw Harvard. Are they going to do that to Musk? And they could do a lot. I mean, for one, Aaron just mentioned these 100 or so Doge members. Are they going to kick them out? I mean, is Trump going to ask his cabinet to kick out every single person in the government who was affiliated or hired by Elon?
Finn, it sounds like it might be a job for Steve Witkoff to try to negotiate a rhetorical ceasefire.
Probably.
The president's special envoy in every direction on the globe.
And, you know, who knows? This might be easier than Kim Jong-un or something, you know, like situation. But I do think, you know, back to like the original, one of the original points that Aaron and Sophia brought up, and that is like if let's say Trump does, he's threatening to pull these, you know, the Musk companies out. Let's say he does. You're looking. It's like they've been promised $3 billion over. It's over 100 different contracts, 17 different agencies. I mean, including Starlink, including SpaceX. Like you're taking astronauts back and forth from the ISS, like
International Space Station.
Yeah, right, exactly. For the non-space geeks, but honestly, like it's
and
you're
Sophia,
taking out serious.
There's also the bill, the legislation that Musk is now a visible opponent of. Now, so far, House and Senate Republicans are doing their level best to try to shrug that off. But there's a following out there on X that might become materially difficult for them to continue to shrug off.
So there's a social media piece, but there's also the crucial question of, is Elon Musk going to spend money defeating Republicans? And, you know, I just spoke to his PAC yesterday, and they have not, as of today, spent money on other Republicans trying to defeat them. That's not to say they can't. I mean, that would be an enormous moving from just words to actions, and that would be a real threat to President Trump's agenda.
And to that point, Aaron, Elon Musk said, if it weren't for me, Trump wouldn't be elected president, and the Senate wouldn't be in majority control, and the House wouldn't have a Republican majority. I'm the majority maker.
Just under $300 million, right, spent from him in 2024. You saw him on the ground in Pennsylvania. You saw him in Wisconsin wearing the cheese head hat. He was supporting Trump. He wanted him to get elected. He was the top Republican donor in a sense. There had been reports that he pledged to donate another $100 million to Trump groups. And even it just shows the elasticity when it comes to Elon Musk and politics, right? He said maybe a week or so ago he was getting out the game. He was done spending money on
the
politics.
Donation side, yes.
A couple of weeks before that, you saw him quietly donate to some House Republicans, max out just the $6,600 or so. And now, as Sophia mentioned, what is the America PAC, his super PAC, going to do? Are they going to get involved in the Senate races? And you look on the map, Michigan, a little muddy race there, Georgia, a bit open. Do they get involved down the line?
Go ahead.
And just to add really quickly, I mean, and you know, again, Chris LaSavita, his co-campaign manager, Trump's co-campaign manager, is directly involved in this PAC now. I mean, he's like so.
Which PAC?
In one of the Musk finance PACs for this. So, and he has promised $100 million. Like if he withdraws all this, and the Republicans have a seriously tough battle looking to the 2025 gubernatorial races and the midterms that are coming up. You take out all this money, man, what happens? Like it's like the house of cards falls down when it comes to this political campaign infrastructure. It just does. And also, I talked to a top Democrat just before your show who said, "Look, we welcome this. This helps us.
Of course,
let's go." Like, you know, because
And Aaron, there was other news at the White House today. I don't want to take my eyes off of that. The other news was for days, White House kept saying President Trump and President Xi are going to talk. Now they have. But what the president said about it was pretty vague, other than that they're going to go see each other.
Right, and I think that was the biggest takeaway, is that these talks are resuming. You saw that big agreement in Geneva between Besant and Chinese officials.
But that was also kind of
vague. And you didn't hear much about it since.
Right.
So that's what I took away, is that there is at least a restart, a resuming of talks. President Trump specifically mentioned rare earth materials used for things like these. Other electronics seem to be that would be the hot topic of that next meeting. But certainly it's still a bit vague. And it's interesting because that's the biggest actor, right, in the president's,
Right, because,
plan.
Sophia, very quickly, the Chinese have put controls on export of these rare earth materials. The president said no one can no longer be confused about the underlying complexity. I don't think anyone was confused about the underlying complexity. Doesn't sound like much progress was made. Might have been. We just don't know.
No, I mean, I think, look, like Trump wants to tangle with these strong men around the world, and now he is. And it's sort of like, well, what have you got?
Sophia Kai, Finn Gomez, Aaron Navarro, Banner, what are you going to do? Oh,
Major, can I, in honor of your show and my
Yeah.
debut on your show, can I just go ahead and take
Do the
off
Kevin
my
McCarthy
tie?
thing. It's
Taking
been
off my tie.
recorded.
It's going on the tie rack, and I'm going to grab one too on the way.
Beautiful. That's it. See you later. Come back. There we go.